It seems like most people that play video games typically have about 2 to 4 games in rotation that they will play every time they get on. And with time, certain games will fall out of the rotation as new ones take their place, but for a lot of people there is one game that is always there and they play it for years. Sure, that is quite a generalized statement, but I have seen a lot of people go through this, and for me, that game is Rocket League. I've been playing Rocket League for about 8.5 years, and 9 times out of 10, it was a game that I kept in rotation, and I still do to this day. So keeping that in mind, let's go back to my example. Usually everyone has this favorite game that they always come back to time and time again. But why is that? Well, for a lot of games, there's constantly something new and exciting that draws you back every time. It could be a new map or character for an FPS, a new world for an MMO, or even just a new game mechanic. But that's not really how Rocket League works. It is the same game on the same map with the same physics that have been relatively unchanged for years. Does that make it boring? No, but it does make it kind of unique. New maps and new cars are coming out all the time, but the maps are all the same shape and size, while the cars have slightly different hitboxes, but the hitboxes aren't unique, and the same ones get used for multiple cars. The skill ceiling is what really makes people come back and play. This might be a hot take, but I would say Rocket League might have one of the highest skill ceilings in any video game. And that is what enthralled me from the start. It seemed like a world of endless improvement and room to grow into one of the most popular video games of all time, but that didn't happen. In fact, Rocket League is starting to see a concerning decline in my opinion. And I know there are countless videos talking about how Rocket League is dead and we're all doomed, but I don't want to just talk about that. Instead, I want to talk about these reasons and look to other games just to suggest some ideas that I think can have an impact on Rocket League's future. And before I get too into this video, I just want to say I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus or any company under the bus. I'm really just speaking on what I've seen in the past couple years. And I think we can start with what is on everyone's mind, and that's the lack of new content. Now, before I start complaining about the lack of new content and all of that, I just want to say that Rocket League actually does a really good job developing new cosmetics, new cars, new items for their season passes, and also new maps. But even recently, the new maps aren't even that new. I mean, at the start of this season, I found out that the new maps are just maps that already existed, but they put grass on them, and they look worse. And I know that there aren't as many people working on the game as there used to be, but I feel like there could be more attention into putting out new maps with fresh looks, just because the game really is the same thing every time you play, so it's nice to have a change of scenery. Additionally, Rocket League has all of these extra game modes like Gridiron Games and Heat Seeker and Knockout, but they only keep the same 3 or 4 extra modes in rotation for ranked. Why not incorporate ranked extra modes for these other modes? It just doesn't make sense, especially when you have game modes like Snow Day that get almost no traction. Either have all the extra modes in their own ranked playlist, or just cycle them out from season to season. But I think the biggest thing that would fix Rocket League's issue is already halfway there. And I think to fix this problem of a lack of new content, you put it into the players' hands, like with Steam Workshop maps. Steam Workshop maps are insane creations by people in the community. They make amazing maps, but it's really hard for people to access these maps and play these maps if they're not on Steam or if they don't have Bacchus mod. And there are a lot of console players as well that don't have access to any of this. And I think a game that actually tackled this really well is Trackmania. Trackmania has a track editor, and they have a standardized stadium where you build your track and some pieces that they put in the game to help you build said track, but it also gives you the opportunity to put in your own custom pieces, and these tracks get uploaded to the Trackmania server rather than a Steam Workshop. If Rocket League was able to do this and you could host private matches on these crazy maps that people make, and people make all kinds of stuff from crazy custom maps with different physics to obstacle courses to obstacle course races. I mean, just by adding that alone, you bring something really, really new to the game. And I'm not saying that Rocket League needs to reinvent the wheel. Leave it up to the community. Give them that platform where they can build a map and just let their creativity run free. With lack of new content out of the way, I think I want to talk about the community as a whole, specifically the YouTube community. It's no surprise that a strong YouTube community makes a very popular game. YouTube is a super popular platform, and obviously I'm using it right now, so clearly I think it's a great platform. And Rocket League has always had a pretty good YouTube scene, but you know, as of recently, we're just running out of original stuff to make. And I want to go back to that first point because there's not enough new content for us to make new and original videos. But on the flip side, I do think that the community, including myself, could definitely be more original with their ideas. If Rocket League was able to produce much more new content, then the YouTube community would actually benefit a lot, and there'd be a lot more original videos and probably more viral moments as well, just because everyone's kind of tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. And I know this might sound a little ridiculous, but when I heard about Rocket League Racing coming out, I had no idea that it was going to get released on Fortnite instead of Rocket League, and that was really disappointing for me because I feel like that really would have opened the door for a lot of new content in Rocket League and in the YouTube scene as well. But regardless, I don't think that the Rocket League community is doomed and it's just going to be dead in a year. With all that being said, I don't really think that the Rocket League community is going anywhere. It might lose a little bit of its fan base and there might be less players online all the time, but it's still going to be a relatively popular game for a very long time. But I know that speaking from experience, I'm starting to get tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again and really struggling to find new original ideas. So I think I might actually venture into other games going forward while maintaining Rocket League content. I just want to see what else is out there, and who knows, maybe by me playing another game, I'll finally get that original Rocket League idea I've been waiting for. But regardless, I appreciate everyone's time, and as always, until next time.